Welcome back to my channel. If you're here today, thank you so much for joining me on this deeply personal journey. I have a story that's going to touch your heart in ways you might not expect. Stick around till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It was a chilly autumn morning when my sister called with news that would shake up my world all over again. My ex-wife, the woman who had cheated on me years ago but was now battling a terminal illness, wanted to see me one last time before she passed. You might remember her story from my first post here on YouTube, where I poured out my heart about this incredibly complicated situation. I couldn't sleep that night, tossing and turning in my bed as old memories flooded back into my mind. The sound of our wedding day, the laughter we shared with our friends, the pain of discovering she had cheated. Every single detail came rushing back to me. It was overwhelming, and yet I knew deep down what I needed to do. I called her on the phone the next morning, my voice trembling as I tried to speak calmly. We talked for hours, setting boundaries that would keep everyone comfortable. She assured me she wasn't expecting anything from me other than a friend's visit. It was a delicate balance. I wanted to be there for her without stepping over any lines. When we finally agreed on the terms of our meeting, I felt a mix of emotions, relief, sadness, and even a hint of hope. My sister and I arrived at our old house around noon. The drive there felt like an eternity as my mind raced with all sorts of scenarios. What if she had regrets? What if we both broke down in tears? I stepped out of the car and took a deep breath, steeling myself for what was ahead. As soon as I saw her waiting for us in the living room, everything else faded away. She looked frail, but there was still that spark in her eyes that had once captivated me. The moment she cried when I walked through the door, my heart sank. We hugged tightly, and it felt like an eternity before we pulled apart. "I'm so glad you're here," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. It was a simple statement, but it cut deep into my soul. We sat on the couch where we used to watch TV together, surrounded by photos of our wedding day and early years of marriage. As I showed her pictures of my kids, memories flooded back in vivid detail. The laughter they shared with me, the stories she loved hearing about them. It was bittersweet, but there wasn't a shred of anger or bitterness between us. We were two old friends catching up for one last time before life took another turn. My sister and I spent hours playing board games and reminiscing over lunch. The house felt different somehow, like it held the weight of our past, yet also a sense of peace. As we played cards, she told me stories about her childhood that I had never heard before, painting a picture of who she was long before we met. There were moments when I could feel the heaviness in the air and see the pain behind her smile. When it came time for us to leave, the sadness was palpable. She hugged me tightly once more as tears streamed down my face too. "Thank you," she whispered, "for being here." I left that day feeling a mix of emotions, relief, gratitude, and a deep sense of closure. It wasn't easy, but seeing her one last time felt like the right thing to do. I knew it might be the last chance for us to connect on some level before she moved on. When I got home, my wife was waiting with dinner ready. She listened intently as I told her everything that happened, and there were no doubts or regrets in her eyes. The relief on her face when I told her about our conversation was heartwarming. We agreed it would be best to keep things simple and not overthink the future. I can't express how much this experience meant to me. It's hard to explain why seeing my ex again felt so right, but there's a part of us that will always be connected no matter what happened in between. I know I'll carry these memories with me for the rest of my life. So here we are at the end of another chapter in this story. Thank you all for being such amazing supporters and listeners throughout this journey. If any of you have faced similar situations or need support, please remember, there's always someone who understands what you're going through. And if you found today's episode meaningful, I'd love it if you could share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep talking about these tough topics because they matter and we're all in this together. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories that touch on life's complexities. Until next time, take care and stay strong.